we are here on behalf of Ankush Laboratory Life Hospital and present the CME. So today I'll be presenting some recent updates in the diagnosis of tuberculosis. It's the most common disease as of now. So just a little bit about background. Tuberculosis is caused by organisms belonging to MTB complex. It belongs to genus Mycobacteria. It is a major public health problem in India as of now. And drug-resistant tuberculosis is a growing man-made problem as it is defined as only after the laboratory diagnosis. Specific measures are being taken by a national tuberculosis elimination program to address the MDR-TB problem through appropriate management of patients and strategies to prevent the propagation and dissemination of MDR-TB. So, evaluation before initiating the treatment potentially exposes the patient to the risk of unnecessary or wrong treatment with no benefit and may delay the accurate diagnosis and proper treatment. So eventually having a proper diagnosis, diagnostic evaluation before starting the treatment should be a priority. Tuberculosis in current diagnostic needs, we have three major challenges. We should be, first thing is the detection of the disease, whether it's because of mycobacteria is present or not. Second thing is differentiating between the two, whether it's a Mycobacterium tuberculosis complex or it is a non-tubercular mycobacteria causing the disease. And then third comes the drug susceptibility pattern, whether the organism which has been isolated is susceptible to currently using TB drugs or it requires a more sophisticated treatment. Available tests as of now, we have most commonly AFB microscopy, which can be by Redden staining or fluorescent microscopy or O staining method. Then comes the game changer CBNAT, also known as cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification technique. Then further comes the line probe assay, which have two different things: first line and second line LPA. Then the culture, which has already been there as a liquid and a solid cultures, and rapid immunochromatographic test. Test selection based on NTP guidelines and laboratory resources. Usually we take the microscopy for all the pulmonary and extrapulmonary drug-resistant tuberculosis cases, and CBNAT all presumptive TB cases, new or retreatment. Then line probe assay can be used for all smear positive pulmonary TB case or isolates who are susceptible for drug resistance, or confirmed MDR TB in case of a mono-ionized drug resistance. We get multiple drug resistance can be seen detected by LPA. Coming over to the liquid culture DST, most commonly used MGIT, Mycobacterium growth indicator tube. According to drug resistance tuberculosis diagnostic algorithm, we should consider it. And for treatment or follow-up purposes, we should go for AFB microscopy in case the patient is on treatment of drug sensitive TB case or it's a new TB case. And in the culture should be considered if the patient is already on a drug-resistant tuberculosis. Diagnostic algorithm for pulmonary tuberculosis. This is recent guidelines by Universal Drug Susceptibility Testing. The government has introduced that we should be going for a definite CBNAT test before the start of the treatment to rule out monodrug resistance. So if we have a presumptive TB patient, we go for a smear examination and a chest X-ray. If a smear positive, regardless of the chest X-ray report, we can label it as a tuberculosis patient. If the smear is negative and the chest X-ray is suggestive of TB, we should definitely go for CBNAT. And then smear and chest X-ray are either negative or not, again clinical suspicion, we should definitely go for a CBNAT testing. According to CBNAT results, we should go for further treatments. If the MTB is detected, if it is a mono drug, there is no resistance, directly it is known as microbiologically confirmed tuberculosis, we should proceed with the normal regimes. If it is rifampicin intermediate resistance is shown, we should have repeat testing on a second sample. And if it is not detected by CBNAT, still if clinical suspicion is high, we can label it as clinically diagnosed TB and start the treatment.
Doctor, repeat sampling में एक चीज बताइए, repeat sampling में what is your message कि what we should follow the result?
Repeat sample, if CBNAT, again the second sample, if it is indeterminate on a second sample, we should collect the second fresh sample and should send for a liquid culture. Means culture should be given priority over the gene expression or CBNAT.
देखिए इसमें एक चीज तो बिल्कुल ये है जो गवर्नमेंट की गाइडलाइन है, डॉक्टर बहुत अच्छा बता रहे हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल कॉम्प्लीमेंट डॉक्टर आशीष की बहुत अच्छे से बता रहे हैं. जो भी हमारा अगर कहीं पे भी डिस्पैरिटी आती है, तो जो 3 बार हमने टेस्ट कर लिया और 3 में से जो 2 रिजल्ट होंगे, चाहे वो ट्रू नाट से हो चाहे सीबी नाट से हो, तो जो दो रिजल्ट आएंगे उसको हम मान लेंगे। तीनों इंडिटरमिनेट है, तब हम लिक्विड कल्चर तब हम उसमें से एक को मान लेंगे।
Then ordering CBNAT, when should we go for all presumptive TB cases, whether it's a new case or a retreatment, the samples can be sputum, tissue, body fluids, except blood, urine and stool. These are not considered as the ideal samples. When should we not consider CBNAT? If there is clear-cut, clear positive MDR TB case, we should go for line probe assay. If there is a treatment follow-up, the patient is already on treatment, the regimen for new drug-sensitive tuberculosis case is going on, we should go for microscopy. And if in case of drug-resistant TB case, if the patient is already on drugs, we should always go for a culture. Specimen collection in pulmonary tuberculosis, sputum sample, 2 specimens, spot and early morning, gastric aspirate in case of children, and in extrapulmonary tuberculosis, specimen may vary on the site involved, I'll be discussing in later slides. And the methods what we use, usually modified Petrov's method and NAP method for the decontamination. Extrapulmonary samples, the optimum samples are CSF, pericardial fluid, synovial fluid or ascitic fluid. Suboptimal samples in which organism load is less, usually pleural fluid and blood, and pleural fluid 20 to 50 ml is collected. The specimens which are containing normal flora such as swabs, urine and stool. In swabs, the laryngeal swabs collected in the early morning as an empty stomach, or a swab from any discharging sinus if you are suspecting of to be a tuberculosis. Urine, 3 early morning specimens are to be collected, 500 ml per specimen. Reason being that tuberculosis bacilli are shed in intermittently in urine. In stool case, for disseminated tuberculosis in HIV infected patients or infants. The other respiratory samples such as bronchial secretions or bronchial alveolar lavage can be sent as a sample, and transbronchial or other biopsies also can be sent as a tissue test. Gastric lavage is recommended for children, which the children usually tend to swallow their sputum, or in ICU patient where there is a higher chance of aspiration. Early morning lavage should be collected and processed as early as possible, usually within 4 hours of collection. Coming to the role of microscopy in diagnosis, the hallmark is always remaining as a Zedin staining, also known as a yardstick in a diagnosis of pulmonary tuberculosis. The number of specimens required for diagnosis of smear positive pulmonary tuberculosis is 2, with one of them being a morning specimen. Any one sputum smear positive for AFB of 2 samples is taken as a sputum smear positive only. Advantages: it is simple, non-invasive technique and cost effective. Quick result even in HIV positive patient, easy interpretation, and this allows the start of treatment as early as possible. It gives sensitivity is less but specificity is around 100%. Safe and acceptable to both users and providers. Equipment and maintenance are minimal. Training is simple to impart. Reliable and reproducible, and is an operationally viable strategy as compared to other techniques, and economical and field friendly. Fluorescent staining also can be done. It's just photographic how it looks in the case of RNA stain, Zedin stain, rectal bacilli on a liquid FTP culture group. Semi-quantitative grading system, it usually gives an idea about the bacterial load in the patient and accordingly helps the physicians to start the treatment accordingly. So Zedin staining, we give the grading as negative scanty 1+, 2+, or 3+. That has been seen on a 100x objective. In case of fluorescent staining or O, we usually give it as 1+, 2+, 3+, depending upon a 40x or a high power up. Why microscopy? The detection, yes, but it gives only a presumptive diagnosis. Sensitivity is low because it needs a higher viral load or bacterial load. Not useful in case of children and immunocompromised patients. Differentiation, no, we cannot differentiate Mycobacterium tuberculosis from any other non-tubercular mycobacteria. Drug susceptible resistance status, no, we cannot tell it on basis of microscopy. Yes, monitor response to treatment, definitely yes. And transmission and control, yes, because we can diagnose the case and accordingly report it to the authorities. The culture, it remains as the gold standard for tuberculosis diagnosis and culture of tuberculosis. Can detect as a few as 10 to 100 viable bacilli per ml of the specimen. Culture is more effective than smear microscopy and has a higher sensitivity of 81.5%, specificity of 98.4%. So usually we do culture on a solid media and liquid media. Solid media, LG medium or middle Brooks 7H10, 7H11 medium is used. Liquid media is Middlebrook 7H9 and Bactec 12B. Automated detection systems, radiometric Bactec 460 TV system, mycobacteria growth indicator tube system, this is the most commonly used liquid culture method. Then ESP culture system 2 and Bactec alert system for tuberculosis detection. Just a little bit about LGIT 960. This is the machine, how it looks. It is an automated system for growth and detection of mycobacteria with the capacity to incubate and continuously monitor 960 mycobacteria indicator tubes every 60 minutes for increasing fluorescence. So the principle lies in that the growth detection is based on the metabolic oxygen utilization and subsequent intensification of an oxygen quenched fluorescent dye which is contained in the tube of modified MGIT. So after every 60 minutes the machine takes up the fluorescence from every tube and accordingly updates the software. The media we use is modified 7H11 broth base which contains folic acid, albumin, dextrose, catalase and panta, that is known as polymyxin, amphotericin B, nalidixic acid, trimethoprim and azilocin, just antibiotics to ward off the other bacterial growth. Advantages: a short mean time of detection around 15.5 days, more accurate and automated. There is an inbuilt incubation system, so we don't have to take out the vials again and again, and non-radioactive materials are used. Disadvantage: there is a very high cost of each tube and high rate of contamination is there. It has a sensitivity of around 95.4%, specificity is around 100%, the positive predictive value is again 100%, negative predictive value is around 89.3%. Then come to various other molecular assays, polymerase chain reaction PCR, the real-time PCR, there is DNA sequencing, 9-probe assay, DNA microarrays, molecular beacons, single-strand confrontation polymorphism, and fluorescence resonance energy transfer probe. These all are also now in the higher settings. This is one of the major breakthrough was a gene expert coming into picture. Also known as MTB or RIF assay or CBNAT technology. The expert MTB RIF assay, it detects the M. tuberculosis and rifampicin resistance. So this was the first technology which was giving the monodrug susceptibility along with the detection. So it does so by PCR amplification of rifampicin resistance determining region or RRDR of M. tuberculosis RPUD gene. So expert MTB RIF uses 3 specific primers and 5 unique molecular probes for identification and determination of resistance. The best thing is the tag is very short, the result is obtained within 2 hours. The detection limit is 130 bacilli per ml. It is an integrated diagnostic device that performs the sample processing and real-time PCR analysis in a single hands-free setup. The expert MTB RIF assay consists of 2 main components. One is the plastic cartridge in which we put up the sample for processing, and which contains all the PCR buffers and lyophilized real-time PCR reagents. And the other thing is the instrument, a box-like thing, Gene Expert instrument, which controls the intra-cartridge fluid and performs the real-time PCR analysis. This is a picture depicting the full procedure. So this is the machine, Gene Expert. This is the cartridge we have with the reagents. So according going to step by step, first only the sputum liquefaction is done with the sample reagents. Then we transfer 2 ml of reagent into the cartridge. Third step, we insert the cartridge into the machine. That is all the human intervention is needed. After that, everything is automated. The sample automatically filtered and washed. Ultrasonic lysis of filter captured organism to release the DNA. Once the DNA is released, the PCR reagents are mixed up into that and the amplification starts. The semi-nested real-time amplification is done and detection is integrated in the reaction tube. Time to result 1 hour 45 minutes. So that within a span period of 2 hours we get the result once we get the sample. Recommendation: it should be used as an initial diagnostic test in individuals irrespective of MTR, TB or HIV associated tuberculosis. May be used as a follow-up on test to microscopy in settings where MDR or HIV is lesser concern. The technology does not eliminate the need for conventional microscopy, culture and DST, which are required to monitor the treatment progress and to detect the resistance to drugs other than rifampicin. So initially the gene expert was giving only monodrug resistance. Now they have come up with a newer version, an upgraded version, which gives us a second line drug susceptibility also. So again, why CBNAT? Because detection, yes, the sensitivity is more than 98% in culture positive cases and 70% in culture negative cases. Differentiation, yes, it gives us whether the organism contains mycobacterial tuberculosis or not. Drug susceptible resistance only for rifampicin, but at least monodrug resistance we can detect in this. Transmission and control, yes, because early detection of cases and their effective management can play a good viable role in the prevention of spread of the drug resistance. There is another TrueNAT chip-based nucleic acid amplification technique by the name TrueNAT, which was validated by SAMR in 2017. It is an automated battery operated device. The turnaround time is almost the same, 1 to 2 hours. Can be used as primary level health center. Limited samples can be tested because in one device only one sample can be tested at a single time. It cannot speciate MTB complex, so it can only give you that whether the tuberculosis MTB is present or not. That's it. GeneXpert Ultra, again, yes.
It has got two components to it. The first component will tell whether it is microbiologically positive or negative.
Yes.
If it is microbiologically positive, the same sample you will process for the second phase in the same machine, and that will tell us about the sensitivity of rifampicin, what CBNAT machine is telling.
Okay. Two-chip technique.
With the same machine, with the same sample. So had it been limited only till this microscopy only, whether sample is there positive or negative, then we would have not introduced it instead of microscope.
Okay.
Now we are replacing it with the
microscope. Line probe assay system for tuberculosis, known as genotype MTB DR plus and genotype MTB DR SL. The genotype MTB DR plus assay is based on line probe assay, which is a technology involving the polymerase chain reaction, amplification and binding of the amplicons to specific oligonucleotide probes immobilized on a membrane slip. It requires a full-fledged setup with a master mix preparation room, DNA extraction, amplification and hybridization room. So uses the identification and speciation of MTB complex and NDM, detection of resistance to first line and second line anti-tubercular drugs. Limitations are it can be performed only on usually positive samples and not recommended for smear negative samples. The WHO policies on line probe assay and expert TB on smear and culture positive. Expert can be done on any specimen irrespective of the smear status. Biosafety level 2 practices are required in case of line probe assay. Biosafety similar to microscopy setting because it's a closed system. Infrastructure as per the molecular lab is required in case of line probe assay. We need separate rooms for each amplification and master mix preparation and everything. In case of expert, any laboratory environment can be done. Skilled technical staff is required in case of line probe assay. Basic skills are required in expert. The results takes usually 24 to 48 hours. So usually we run it in batches, and whereas in expert TB we can get the result within 2 hours. The other one is a TB LAMP assay, ready to use assay for visual detection of tuberculosis complex, specific DNA using LAMP technology, also known as loop mediated isothermal amplification test. It is a simple, rapid, specific and cost effective nucleic acid amplification test. It has the potential to be used as a simple screening assay in the field or at the point of care by clinician. WHO in 2016 recommended LAMP as a potential replacement of microscopy, but it's very individual bias, so it's not being used everywhere. The WHO endorsed products, it's started with LP, then coming over to Gene Expert in 2010, and LAMP was introduced in 2016, then TrueNAT came in around 2020. Now they are, the other things are in process, sequencing, point of care, nucleic acid application techniques, centralized drug susceptibility testing, etc. Just a little bit about anti-tubercular drugs which are being used as of now. We know the first line agents, Achinazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol. Then comes second line group A fluoroquinolones and injectable drugs. The other second line agents such as ethilenamide, cycloserine. There are few add-on agents which are not into the regimen added, but
now injectables we have totally stopped. There is no injectable we are using. ठीक है ना? स्ट्रेप्टोमाइसिन तो पहले बंद कर दिया था और लिवोफ्लॉक्सासिलिन के लिए जो आज ये कैनामाइसिन वगैरह का बंद कर दिया। जो पुराने पेशेंट थे जो कैनामाइसिन पे चल रहे हैं अभी 4-6 महीने और चलेंगे तभी तक सारी ओरल ड्रग्स ले आए, सारे ओरल ड्रग्स ले आए। इसका एक अलग वो है तो इसको तो प्लीज जो है ना। और ये जो हमारा है लिवोफ्लॉक्सासिलिन, इसके लिए मैं सभी डॉक्टर से एक चीज ये कह दूं कि लिवोफ्लॉक्सासिलिन के लिए सभी लोगों से हमारा ये बड़ा काइंड रिक्वेस्ट और कंसर्न रहता है कि हम आर्बिट्रेरीली इसको ना लिखें, क्योंकि जैसे डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया था सबसे पहले कि हमने टेस्ट कर लिया, उसके बाद में हमने एलपीए दिया कि जिसमें हम नॉर्मल जो टीबी का जो एमडीआर का पेशेंट भी नहीं है HRZD हम उसके लिए देख रहे हैं। जो सिंगल हमारा जो है इसका INS से पॉजिटिव आ गया तो हम INS हटा के हम लिवो उसकी में दे रहे हैं, हम लिवो दे रहे हैं जहाँ पे मोनो है। तो ये हमारी लिवो और आगे हमारे इसमें भी लिवो यूज होती है जो एमडीआर पेशेंट्स में भी, जो रिप्लेसेबल ड्रग में भी। और तो लिवो का बहुत कॉमनली चूंकि यूज हो रहा था तो बार सब जगह यही रिक्वेस्ट रहती है। उसका रीजन ये है क्योंकि लिवो की बजाय जो हमें जो दूसरे जो ऐड करनी पड़ती है ड्रग, तो नॉट ओनली दे आर वेरी कॉस्टली, उनके साइड इफेक्ट्स भी बहुत है। थैंक यू सो मच, सॉरी डॉक्टर।
So just as a final note, till the lab facilities are expanding in the countrywide, new cases of pulmonary tuberculosis, we should always establish the diagnosis before starting the treatment. And whatever other treated or the past cases already on treatment, we should definitely look for resistance into those to prevent the spread of resistance into the community. Thank you very much. That was all for this. We should all together work together to invest into end of tuberculosis so that we can save more lives and contribute to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Last, Mr. Varun, North India head, he would give a small presentation. Thank you, sir.